I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
And Colby and Chip.
We are going down the rabbit hole of Christian metal. We're kind of like going old school Christian metal, new school Christian metal, old school Christian metal, new school.
Going around.
We're trying to see the evolution of Christian metal. So this is War of Ages. The name of the song is Battle On. And so yeah, have you ever heard of this band before?
No. The term War of Ages is familiar, but I don't think that it's from the band.
That's the name of the song. The band. The name of the song is Battle On. The name of the band is War of Ages. If you want to check out timely topical political commentary, you can check us out at Middle America, Vin and Sori, or
well, I'm distracted. I think that you mixed that up when you said that, but maybe not. If you want to see behind the scenes with our family, check out My Story Life.
Okay. Very good. All right, so let's listen. War of Ages, Battle On. Let's do it.
Go.
going in the rotation. That is going in the rotation. That was a good one.
Yeah. It didn't have a Christian sound to it.
It didn't have a Christian sound to it. What are you talking about?
You know what I mean. Like, it didn't have that sound. Like, if I just heard that playing, I wouldn't be like, wait, is that Christian music? Like some of the other ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't have that sound. Like, they...
Yeah.
I wonder what year did this come out?
2005, obviously.
Yeah. I was like, it's got to be something more recent.
That's got to be a little bit more modern, you say?
Yeah.
Huh?
Mm-hmm. Got to be.
What did you like about the song?
I liked musically what they did with it, with the instruments and the different thing in the middle. Are you listening or not?
No, I'm listening. Different. I was just like jamming to the song.
If you want to jam, but we asked me a question.
Go ahead.
I already said it. I like that middle part. I liked a lot of the instrumental, what they did with the instruments. Some of the parts, I don't know, I can't repeat it back to you like you could do. But I was like, oh, some of it was really even pretty toward the end.
Yeah. They went to the clean channel after the.
The heavy stuff was heavy. It was just good all over. It was really
chunky,
good.
It's chunky.
And
it's heavy.
the voice, the lyrics, I thought the voice, like whoever sings it. Who sings this?
War of Ages is a band.
Well, yeah, but who's the singer?
I have no idea.
Oh, sometimes it says it right here
Say
on the side.
No,
it doesn't.
It doesn't.
But he's really good. I don't know. I liked it. I don't have a whole lot to say right now.
Okay. Yeah. This song was great. I loved it.
Yeah, I could tell it was.
It's my favorite song right now. My favorite Christian song right now. It was just.
It beat out Wasp.
Oh yeah. The Wasp song was good.
Oh
good.
my god.
The Wasp song.
Beat out Wasp.
The Wasp song. I have to be in a certain mood to listen to that song because it's so heavy.
Okay, but this
it's so heavy emotionally, whereas this one it's like.
Okay.
I could listen to it. I could play it in the shower.
Yeah, I was gonna say this one's gonna be in that shower.
This is gonna be in the. This is the shower song for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. So yeah, like this one right here is the.
It was an encouraging song. The stuff that they were saying.
Yeah, because in Christianity there's this whole tradition of what they call spiritual warfare. Mm-hmm. And because we believe in an unseen world or dark intelligences or whatever, you have, and a lot of it is just about like dealing with life, because a lot of life is war. You have to fight for everything that's important to you.
Yeah.
Marriage, friendships, whatever. Yeah. I mean, even if you don't believe in the unseen world, that there are things that you
outside of your control that you have to.
You got to fight. And so. But it's cool because it starts off with your love will never fail even when we fall.
Mm-hmm. Fade even when we fall.
And I think that's there's a lot of things that the Bible teaches that there's a lot of misconceptions on. Like, so for example, the biggest battle a Christian has to fight in this world is not really the devil, it's your own sin, mm-hmm. your own flaws.
Yeah.
And you have to fight that to the day that you die.
Yeah.
And
desires that you have inside of yourself that go against what God would want, what God says.
Right. And so, and there's a lot of ways to look at that. You could say, a lot of people say that, Christians have a guilt complex, blah, blah, blah. And so, mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's like, even if you don't hold to our moral code, I've never run into a person that says I've never done anything wrong. Mm-hmm. And we've got some friends in the channel that are fighting addictions and things like that.
Yep.
What we've had people talk about porn addictions, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, and that's really wrecked their lives and things like that. And so it's a real life battle and a real life struggle. And so there's when Christians talk about fighting sin, call it what you want, you still have things about yourself that you hate and that you want to get rid of. Mm-hmm. But I love how he starts off with saying, your love will never fade even when we fail, because that's the basis of my striving is that I don't do this so that God will love me.
Right.
Or I don't want to overcome this problem so that God will love me.
He already loves me.
He already loves me, and that's completely unconditional. And it's not like when I do well that his love like increases. And Vin, look at Vin. And then when I screw up,
Decreases.
he's gonna turn his back on me until I fix the problem. As a matter of fact, in my life, me personally, when I have been like crazy and whatever and out of my mind and complete, I'm just screw this Christianity stuff. Like God's chased me down. Like I get, it's almost.
Not everybody has that experience.
In my experience, I feel like I get more attention when I'm being bad. Like I am affirmed way more by God in my badness than when I'm being good, which of course isn't true. From a Christian perspective, He loves you just the same either way.
Yeah.
But I've never had. God's always like he's. There was a certain point in my life when He just said, "Just stop it, man. You're just not." I had all this stuff. My job's so terrible, blah blah blah. And it was just like, just stop it. Like you can't redeem yourself. You can't redeem yourself. Just I love you. That's it. Of course, a lot of it had to do with once I started having kids, and. I remember Dorian was really, really small, but he had this certain type of bad habit. And I thought to myself, like, man, he grows up with that, it's gonna be a problem. And so I'd sit him down and you're talking to him because he's really small, and he started hitting me, I was just hugging him, and he was hitting me, and the more he hit me, the more I hugged him or whatever, and it was like, boom, that was the moment. God was like, you're not a better father than me. Like, this kid's hitting you, he's doing all this stuff, and you all you're worried about is who he's gonna be as a man and da-da-da-da. Like, there's no question. Like, there was no like, oh, he does this again, I'm throwing him out, or I'm gonna turn my thing. No. I was just, all I cared about was, was him and was best for him, and then it was that moment, God's like, you're not a better father than me. So when you're off doing your stupidness, like he's coming for you. So the basis of a lot of change for me was God's love for me. There are so many times I'm just like, you just break because you realize how much God loves you. And so that's always been that's since that moment, that's always been like the motivation. Like, okay, if you love me like that much and unconditionally, then I want to be the person that you want me to be.
That really stuck with you, obviously, because I never knew you like in that phase of your life.
What?
Because you were saying that you would be like, oh, condemnation, like you'd feel bad.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I never knew you like that. I always knew you as Vin, the guy that.
Dude, if I
knows he's gonna, have failures and be okay with it.
If I literally, it got to like the Martin Luther level silliness. Like if I drove above the speed limit.
Oh, I know, I went through that too.
I'd be like, man, I'm such a blah 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 blah.
I didn't know. Why hasn't you never told me this before?
Well, there's specific.
You can't say that you couldn't come up in conversation.
There's specific reasons I don't tell you that stuff. Because you're still like that.
Well, I know, but maybe a little bit of understanding.
You're terrible to yourself.
He has no clue. Man,
I do have. What do you mean? I
didn't think you understood because I'm like, I thought you've never been like that.
Oh no, I was terrible to myself. Terrible.
Like, you know how the kids will do something and they won't, They won't tell us. I gotta find it. I gotta find the busted whatever. Like, I wasn't like that as a kid.
Yeah.
If I broke something, I was immediately so guilt-ridden, I didn't feel better until I confessed it. But they're not like that. So I assume you've just been like that all your life, too. Like... So this is very weird to hear that you... Of the speed limit thing, the stuff like that. Like, because I've done that. I went through a phase driving 25 on the dot. Everybody was angry at me because I was driving on the speed limit. I'm like, I'm doing the speed limit, as you should be too. I'm helping you to
you
stay
filthy pagan.
The confines of the speed limit signs. But
yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, it was a.
Well, I'm glad I'm.
What?
I'm glad that you can understand where I'm coming from.
What do you mean where you're coming from? I'm so confused right now. What are you talking about?
Because anytime we talk about it, how I am about like following the rules or the laws and like feeling guilty about everything and different stuff like that, and you're like, why do you do
I've told you for years.
You never told me that you were like that. You never told me you were like that.
You've never heard me talk about being in my journals and me telling God help me or kill me. You've never heard that.
Well, you had a particularly difficult life, and I could totally understand why somebody would say that. But I didn't know it had anything to do with other things like the speed limit.
I did tell you that, sweetheart, but you don't listen very well.
You are so full of shit. If you told me something like that, I would have heard it.
I've told you that multiple times.
No. You've never told me that you felt guilty if you drove over the speed limit.
I felt guilty about everything. I was extremely particular. That's why I told you I stopped reading the Puritans, because the Puritans made this big thing about, doing an inventory of your day.
Yeah, but I didn't think that was because you felt like you were predisposed to having that sort of behavior.
Oh yeah,
I just thought it was you looked upon it and you said, "This is not right."
And I didn't. Once I was confirmed in God's love, and once like that was no longer a question to me, I took off. Like you saw it. Like I transitioned pretty drastically after that. That's all that stuff that you saw. That's all that happened around that time. Because she's known me for over a decade, so
yeah,
I took off after that. Because I was like,
I do remember you taking off, but I didn't know what was the catalyst for that.
It's a very freeing thing. It's like, wait a second. Really? No matter what? Yeah, no matter what. Love you. Period. So, it was definitely fun. It was a fun time, for sure. But and it's a real gift though. It's very hard to explain, to know that you're loved completely and totally and unconditionally. And to know that you're worse than you think you are. See, that's the other thing that God showed me, is like, bro, there are so many things that I'm not showing you about yourself. I mean, you're worried about this thing, and you have this whole other thing that's wrong with you. I'm not showing you because it would crush you. So it's like, I don't know, but it was, but.
Well, it's interesting because if you don't see that, then you probably, like, there's probably something specific that God wants to work at in my life, but I've got all these other things that I'm making the issue and the problem that kind of eclipse his, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How can you actually know what it is that God sees as the actual problem when you see everything else as a problem? You know what I mean?
I just focus on whatever he shows me at the given time. I don't sit there and try to figure out what all my personal flaws are. I just say, because there's
I don't just sit and try to figure out all my personal flaws. It's just that I see them and I don't know how to not see them.
Yeah. I mean, there's usually something where he's like, okay, we got to work on this, and then me and him will work on that particular thing, Like, and some of them share with you, So it's like, and we're like that with the kids. We're like, well, we have debates about it, but to me, my perspective is, I get it. They need to do their chores. They need to do this. They need to do that. But let's build them. Let's take a long range view and work slowly here. And if we can get them to, do X, and let's celebrate that, and then move on to the next thing, because we know they're not perfect. Whatever. And so that's kind of where that comes from for me. But yeah. But to be motivated to know that you're loved, like that's the courage that gives you the battle to fight, because he's for you, and to know that God is for you, and that's not gonna fade, and that he's in your corner.
That's not gonna change,
Yeah, and if you fail, then Jesus died for it, and if you succeed, then Jesus died for that too.
Right.
He died for your failures and your successes.
Yeah.
And it just gives you a kind of, and it doesn't, especially with a person like me, it can easily be misunderstood as, I don't care about hurting people. I do care about hurting people. For example, we had a family appointment. We've got this little family tradition, and I said, "Oh, I got to take care of this thing for an hour," and it turned out to be 3 hours. And then all the kids came after me. I apologized immediately. You came after me. I apologized to you, like immediately. And then here's 8-year-old Sailor going, "You," and I was like, "I'm wrong. You're right. You're right. You got to apologize to the kids. You have to. You're wrong." So I absolutely care about hurting people. It's just, but it's the same reason I'm so quick to apologize to them. It's because it doesn't take anything from me to do that. It doesn't, I'm completely and totally loved. So if the kids are mad at me and they have a right to be mad at me, then you have to apologize. But I don't need to protect myself from anything because God loves me. So I'm going to apologize to this 8-year-old. She's going to be mad at me for the night. And,
And the following day.
And the following day, but that doesn't change anything about how God feels about me. So I'm able to apologize to the 8-year-old because there's nothing about me and my identity that's wrapped up in whether or not I, as the adult, am apologizing to the child. See what I'm saying? So it just has a lot of. It does a lot of things in my life and things like that. Maybe I wasn't as but the thing is, so you have impressions of who I am as a person that sometimes when I tell you stuff you don't hear it. So
I would definitely say that that's true. But in that particular situation, like, I kept feeling like he has no clue what I'm talking about. It's like foreign to him.
Yeah. I was worse than you were. Like, I was pretty bad because I've done bad stuff in my life. The stuff you've done in your life is, you haven't done any really bad things in your life. So, if people looked at my resume and your resume, they'd be like, that guy, I've done some, so. So yeah, I was worse than you, but that's the difference between what Jesus does and what religion does. This is religion just piles you on guilt and leaves you there. And obviously you don't want to fall off on either side of being like a completely guilt-ridden person that can't function in the world and a sociopath who doesn't care.
Right.
And so, That's so like the battle and the fighting and every passing moment I pray that I'm ready, which is there's not a lot of like braggadocio here. Sometimes when you hear about spiritual warfare and stuff like that, there's a lot of like victory language and we're gonna do this and it's gonna be easy, bring it on, devil. And this guy is saying, you know what, I'm grounded in your love and I pray that I'll be consistent. And that is Christianity, ladies and gentlemen. That is Christianity. Because that's a truth right there. Fight through your strongholds till there's nothing left.
I was just reading that line, yeah.
And I when I had that transition, like it definitely makes you want to give your whole soul to God. When you're like, okay, like you love me that much, I want to just, and it's not to prove anything. It's just that like, whoa, I'm loved like that. I'm gonna put out like crazy.
Yeah. You changed like a ton.
Yeah.
It did kind of seem like it was overnight-ish. Were you here in Maine when you changed?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it was just like, boom.
Yeah. There's things about God I don't talk about in public because I'll just get emotional. That's like me when I'm alone. Whatever. You know
what's crazy too? Oh.
Go ahead.
Was that, so prior to that change, I kept praying for you that you would experience and know God's love for you.
Yeah.
Because that was like the big thing that they would pray at my college.
Yeah. Well, when you met me, I was a walking textbook.
Right.
It was just.
Is there emotion there?
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like that. But these are really good grounds for for Christian action. You know. So anyway, that's a 10 for me. Obviously.
It's a 9.8 for me.
Okay. 9.8. That's because you haven't experienced it yet.
Probably. Maybe.
There you are. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Go.